All right, everybody, welcome back to Two Guys and then Somebody Else.
Two guys. I'm one guy. I'm Jake. I'm a content creator, partial steroid user.
I'm Mac. I'm a UFC fighter.
Hi there. I am Charles.
This is Charles!
Hey, Charles!
I am Charles. I'm a professor at Cambridge and of political stuff. And yeah.
What do you teach, Charles?
Tell us about your
I
class.
teach politics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, have you heard of it?
No.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
should.
Charles Wow. So U.S. politics?
All politics.
Speaking of all politics, have you heard about this guitar jet?
You know, I think I have. You know, it's a really interesting subject.
Excuse me, sir. He wasn't talking to you about
Yeah.
the guitar jet?
Yeah, you got it. Speaking of politics, have you heard about this guitar jet?
Yeah, you know what? I have. We really did talk about this in my class at Cambridge. It's a really, really serious issue, and I don't really think it's. I don't think that it's constitutionally correct.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, constitutionalism. I want to hear this guy.
Oh,
This guy
let me
knows.
just tell you.
He's really big on the
Those
Constitution.
UFC fighters, they always come to me and they say, dude, I don't know anything about the Constitution. I'm about to go into this fight. I may die. I want to know about the Constitution before I die.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, I tell them about it.
I've been in the same position.
Yeah.
As a professor.
They go to
I
use UFC fighters.
Dude,
In my steroid-induced rage, sometimes I get in fights and I'm like,
Wow.
can I do this? Is
Yeah.
this legal?
Is this legal?
Am I bad? Am I protected?
It's a real thing.
Like,
you know?
show
We
me
got-
due
we got
process when I get
that's
in
what I'm
the
saying. We got
legal
Honorable
system.
Confederation. We got Gideon versus Wainwright, Roe v. Wade, all this stuff.
Yeah.
What does it
so
mean?
much stuff.
So
dude.
much stuff.
So much stuff.
I don't know what it means.
From A
This
to
guy
Z.
tells me.
Yeah. All right. Anyways.
Okay,
So-
let's pull this up. So,
For those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
about a week ago, current President Trump, he accepted a jet from...
Not even just. It was $400 million.
$400 million
Look
And-
at that.
is this
Oh my gosh.
from... I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. I have it here. This is the guitar...
Guitar. It's
Guitar.
guitar. It's guitar.
It's guitar.
So it's
Yeah,
guitar.
It's guitar.
Now, in
Anyway.
English, that sounds really close to guitar. You understand?
You know what? I
Qatar,
had this
guitar.
same issue when I first looked at it. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
what does that say? I was
Okay.
like, guitar?
So we have
Qatar?
the cut for
Qatar?
for the viewers. We have the Qatar jet. It's from
Qatar jet.
the royal family of
From the
Qatar
royal
is what I
family,
hear.
yeah.
How do people feel about this? We need to know. I can tell you in a minute. This guy, he can't wait to talk. You go ahead. I don't want to take your stage.
So
You go ahead.
President,
I'm gonna get warmed up.
So President Trump pretty much said that Air Force One sucks. The
Steroids.
Boeing company has been behind on creating a new Air Force. They're 3 years behind, and he said, "Look, I'm going to use this jet because I'd be an idiot not to take this jet." Those are his exact words, in fact.
Yeah.
But the only problem is that is infraction in that hurts the Constitution, because Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution states that the government cannot receive a personal gift from a foreign head of state without the consent of
It
Congress.
says that.
That's so real. That's
This
so
is
real.
also known as the emolument clause.
Now, holding right there. Do you talk about the emolument clause in your
You know
class?
what? I have. That was the first week of my classroom. And
First
dude,
week.
Dude, it is so good.
Wow.
It actually sets the peak of my classroom, and we just live by that, and we die for it, bro.
Out of all
we
the
die
clauses,
for it, dude.
And the
Dude,
emolument clause.
If the president accepts a gift from another country, dude, it's like bribery or something like
Guys,
that. Dude, it's the worst thing
For
ever.
the listeners, it was no accident we brought Charles
Dude,
here.
This
We
is why
planned
they brought
this.
me, because I am a professor of political stuff.
Yeah,
okay?
and he's very good on the emolument clause.
Exactly, yep.
And so let's redefine it for the listeners. Define the emolument.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, the emolument clause, or as I said before, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8.
Okay, and that's in the Constitution.
Yeah. Here we go.
Constitution.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Quiet.
The migration or importation of such persons as any of states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1880, but a tax duty or may be imposed on such importation, not exceeding $10. Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
Oh.
yep. Yeah, I lost it.
Oh no.
Oh, here we go. No, yeah, you saw. I was reading the whole thing. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office or profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any president, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state.
Exactly.
Now,
You know what?
Pretty
It's so
straightforward, right there.
Important words there are king or prince. Now, the Qatar family is a royal family.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have kings and princes?
They have princes.
They have princes.
So
What about
you
kings?
better assume they. I assume they
So
have kings.
this is quite
Wow.
adjacent to the emolument clause, as stated.
right there.
Okay,
Wow.
It's like
so
they
yeah.
knew. Maybe Jesus Christ gave them a vision that Donald Trump was going to do this.
the,
Look at that.
the Qatar
It's almost
people.
like, yeah, yep.
Really?
I think so.
You know, that's funny.
Um,
I hear this guy is a religion major.
Are you majoring in
You
religion?
know what? I wasn't gonna get into that, but you know what? I really am.
Wow.
What?
I really am. Yep. Political, religion, all that stuff.
All
It all
of it.
flows.
All of it.
flows.
All of it.
Wow.
Dude, that's what
Rumors
Charles.
you have a minor in feminist rights. Is that true?
I have a major.
You have another major.
This
You've
guy-
been in school for a
Triple
long time.
You know
major.
what? I'm like 60 at this point. Dude.
Okay.
And you know what? I am all up on all these topics, but I want to focus on the Qatar jet.
Right, yeah. I was gonna-
Respectfully, I think
You know
you're
what?
up here. Bring it down.
I think.
we need to talk about the Qatar
Yeah,
jet.
my bad.
Yeah.
My bad. You know what? I'm
You
just.
know, you're just flexing on us.
Yeah,
Look,
sorry,
dude, we
my
know
bad,
you love
my bad.
religion.
You
We
know
know you
what?
love women.
I was
It's
trying to
Game
be
of Lunch.
humble. I was trying to be humble, but you know what?
So the
I got
Qatar jet.
technology, that's all.
Okay. Now, not only does this raise concerns, but our political parties have some concerns. We have Republicans that are concerned. We have Democrats that are concerned.
Yeah.
Talk about why this matters, please.
You know what? I think it matters because this could set a terrible precedent for the United States and for future presidents. Because, like, why would they accept this jet? Like, it could be a bribery.
It could be.
You know what? Like, what if they're looking at something in return in the future? And, like, what would that mean for the United States? You know what I'm trying to say?
Now, a little spice in here. I hear, and these are from my sources, that 85% of Democrats say, quote, raises ethical concerns about corruption, end of quote.
Yeah.
Directly what you were saying. That's
Exactly.
really interesting.
Yeah.
So people are concerned.
That's why I brought you in.
Go
That's
ahead.
exactly why I brought the professor of politicals.
Okay. Now, what's interesting? Only 15% of Democrats said. Only 15% of Democrats said that the gift, the Qatar jet, was a win for the U.S.
Right.
Now, Republicans
Uh-oh.
were more split
Oh, yeah.
in their party,
Oh,
with
wow.
40%, that's 40,
Wow.
saying that it raises ethical concerns.
Exactly.
While 60%, that's VI 60%,
Wow.
said that it was a win for the U.S. among independent. Okay, yeah, and then among independents, 62%.
Goodness gracious.
Okay, said that it raises ethical concerns. So the independents are a bit concerned. If you're an independent out there, comment hashtag concern below. We want to hear from you.
What do you want to hear about that from you?
38% said it was a win for the U.S. of independents. Hey, if you're out there, if you're an independent, if you're saying, oh, made this a win for the U.S., comment in the comments below. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
This is a people show of the American people. We have Charles. He loves the American people.
I sure do.
Your name. This is the other guy.
Mac.
We all know. We call him Mac, little Mackie brother.
Mac Daddy,
Mac
bro.
Daddy. Yeah,
our
he
Mac
loves
Daddy.
American people. Man, no one loves American people more than me. You guys who have been watching me for a while, you know, steroids and American people. I love them, and so it's interesting to see the Democrat Party at 85 and 15%. The Republican Party at let me pull those stats up. I'm pulling them right back up here. 40% and 60%. 60 saying it was a win, and then the independents, the independent people, the independent party, saying that some, is left and right. It's among independents, 62% said it raised concerns, and that leaves, if you do the math here, 38 said
Oh boy.
they it was a win for the U.S. So really understand what the conglomerate and aggregate of American people. It's really interesting, and and how we have really good public polling.
We sure do.
Yeah, it's really good.
Good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good thing too.
So yeah, really. So the Monument Clause. Okay. Okay. In terms of constitutionality, the president.
Look, I think
Let's hear it.
that Trump. This is my personal opinion. I think that what he's pretty much saying is, look, if you have a good enough gift, we'll take it because Air Force One sucks.
Oh,
In his words.
turn on the controversial light right here.
Which is also at the same time, with it being made like in Qatar, does that not raise also some security issues? Like, because if they know how it was built, they would know the weak points in it.
Oh.
So
Are we also going to talk about that Qatar allegedly funds terrorist groups?
Holy cow.
more about that later in another episode.
Another episode.
Yeah.
What?
Look forward to that.
In the comments,
I'm
drop
coming
down
back,
below.
baby!
Hey, if you want to know, comment down below. Hashtag Let's Talk Terrorism. Okay,
Yeah.
it's coming up next. You stay tuned.
You know what? And we're gonna
I'll be back for it.
go to break after these short messages.
Okay.
Hey, can I get your number?
No.
Oh man.
Hey, are you a loser?
Yeah.
This guy's such a loser. He sucks. He can't do anything. You don't want to be better?
Yeah.
Use Jake's Super Stretchy Stretch and steroids help too. Use this 5 times a day. He's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back after that break to two guys and somebody else.
I'm one of those guys.
And I'm
It's
somebody
Jake.
else.
This is somebody
Oh,
else.
sorry, I
This is
just
Professor
interrupted you.
Charles. It's fine. We touched it. Okay. This is Charles. Professor Charles. What we didn't tell you. Bah, bah, bah. Firstly, he's a professor. A professor
Yeah.
of political stuff,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and a professor.
Cambridge University.
Yeah, at
At
Cambridge
Cambridge,
University.
yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
so
this
much.
guy. And a professor on global trades. That includes tariffs. And he has a... Tell us what you have a minor in. He has a minor in Chinese trade deals.
Look at that. Yeah.
They don't
Thank
even
you so
make
much.
that degree. What?
How'd you get that? Oh, great.
How did I get that? Cambridge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why I'm there.
wow. All right.
I made my own degree.
So what's going on with these tariffs, dude?
Okay.
Pretty much, I'll tell you what's going on with these tariffs. That was a rhetorical question to myself.
We don't get rhetoric language down here.
A couple weeks ago, President Trump imposed a lot of tariffs on pretty much every country around the world. No, not every country. But pretty much every country we do deals with.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to bring, in his own words, jobs back to America.
We're bringing jobs into America again. Reinstilling those American jobs, okay?
Reinstilling
These
those
tariffs.
American jobs.
Bringing in the American jobs.
However, he actually didn't do that.
no.
Because President Trump
I
put
mean,
these
we
tariffs...
could debate whether he did or did not do it, but
All right,
go
well,
ahead.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
go
if you're
ahead.
an idiot, yes, he could debate that.
Go ahead.
Anyways,
Go ahead. Keep talking.
So, pretty much, President Trump put these on... He paused them, as a president can do. He has the constitutional power to do that. Except for the ones on China.
Except for the
China
ones
now
on-
has a... 1 second.
138.
I believe it's about 1 second.
138%.
Yeah.
Okay. Mac, Big Mac over here, he's pulling that up.
Mac Daddy.
Mac Daddy, as we know him. Hashtag
Yeah.
let's hear more from Mac Daddy. Okay. Yeah, really talking about these tariffs. Let's see what we're talking about. You see it. What do the American people think about these things? Okay, let's listen. For what we have here is on the news. Majority of Americans, 66%, believe higher tariffs are very likely to result in increased consumer prices. Now, this is interesting. Another 23% say it is somewhat likely. So what do we think about that? Increased prices? We might see some increased
I
prices.
think we have seen increased prices around the U.S. recently,
Have
especially with gas. You know, it just keeps going up, dude.
Has it?
Like 3 weeks ago, it was like 302. Yeah, maybe
Has it
like,
really?
And then
I
like
feel
two-
like that's very
and then
anecdotal.
like a week ago it was like 319, bro. It's going up.
Yeah.
It's going up.
Really?
You know what? I think this like really pisses me off.
Wow. Well, frankly,
That-
Okay, that's also... But that's anecdotal evidence. And frankly, if you keep using anecdotal evidence, I'm gonna lose it. So why don't you actually back up your sources?
No one's gonna lose it before I do. Let that be clear, okay? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, bringing jobs back to America.
Bringing jobs back.
Yeah, bringing jobs back to America. More like bringing idiots like this back to
Okay,
America.
you want to you guys get that? Okay, so
Let's get back to the tariffs.
tariffs.
Yeah.
Okay, so the perception on tariffs are a little more pronounced upon Democrats. This is what my stats are bringing in.
It's interesting.
90% of Democrats who think higher consumer prices are very likely, and 5% somewhat likely. So Democrats, very strong majority, think that higher prices are more likely, and then 5% think somewhat likely. So contrasting this, okay, I know you're not a stats man, but I know you do, so let me break this down for the layman.
I'm listening.
36% of Republicans say higher prices are very likely, and 46% of Republicans say that they are somewhat likely to result in higher prices. So interesting enough, okay? So vast majorities of both parties expect the new tariffs to lead to higher prices, which we have to ask ourselves: higher prices. Is there a price to pay? Are we paying this price? And how do we feel? How do we feel about this?
Price.
How do we feel about this? How do we feel about a little bit higher prices? But we got American jobs back. We have
Does it weigh
industry.
evenly? Like
Does it
pros
weigh
and cons? Like what are the pros and cons?
pros and cons.
Yeah.
Right? Cons: raise prices.
Yeah.
Pros: more American jobs, lower unemployment potentially.
Mm-hmm.
We could look at those stats, but
Yeah.
okay.
Well, you see, even if we bring jobs back to America, it doesn't mean that they're going to go get jobs. Like, it depends on whether they want to get the jobs, too.
You're ready to cut this out because the lazy Dem is an issue, and we see it. You're not. Okay, please. You see it again, and this is not a political statement, that about half the U.S. adults overall say that it is likely. I don't know what this is saying for. Like, you go ahead.
Historically speaking, tariffs have not resulted in a growth of the United States economy. We saw this in the 1930s with the chicken tariff.
Oh,
Pretty much, there was a tariff
On chickens?
on all chickens coming into the United States. This just resulted in higher prices of chickens.
now did that include roosters?
It did not include roosters.
Okay.
It did, in fact, include roosters.
Okay. The public is more divided on whether tariffs will lead to an increase in U.S. manufacturing jobs, with about half of overall adults saying that it is likely to increase local manufacturing jobs. About 25% saying very, and 24% saying somewhat likely to increase manufacturing jobs. But we also have that another half, that 32% saying that's not too likely, and 18% saying not all likely to increase manufacturing jobs. So, interesting enough that we were talking about that, like, it just is interesting. So,
Yeah. It is interesting.
Super interesting stuff.
maybe.
Brayden, why does this matter?
Charles.
Charles, why does this matter?
So,
Yeah. Professor
I just-
Brady
I
is
just
what his
was
students
at-
call him.
Well, everybody calls you Brayden, but your real name's Charles.
it's Charles. I don't know where that came
it's
up.
I'm
really confused on that.
Well,
I
you look like,
Is there a name tag saying Braden?
you look like somebody I used to know.
Wow. Well,
He,
I hope he's
he,
doing
he
okay.
does know a lot of people from the UFC. But
yeah.
get back to it.
So,
Why-
why
why does it matter?
you know, you're a big economy guy, you're a big women's rights activist, you're a big policymaker guy.
How do women feel about these tariffs?
Yeah.
You know what? I think they don't like the prices on, like,
Groceries?
groceries. That's not where my mind went.
Cleaning products?
Cleaning. Yeah, exactly. You know, cleaning products are like, they are getting up there in prices. And it's like, the house is not as clean as it used to be, dude. Like dude.
A lot of these things.
Okay. Anyways.
a lot of these. What he was saying there is, I just saw through this mist, is that a lot of these clean products do come from China. It's interesting.
You're right.
It is
We get
interesting.
So many.
So it could have. So really, we all buy things. Some categories buy more categories of other categories, and some buy less. It depends on how
Just think of toys. Like those
This
little
guy
baby
knows.
toys.
He loves buying Hubba Bubba and Juicy Fruit gum, and he knows price differences.
Oh, I've noticed.
Was it inflation? Was it tariff raises? It's neither here nor there. But what we do know is everyone's buying these. These affect everyone. Okay, these affect school teachers. These affect you know all sorts of businesses that are buying products that come from China across the seas. All sorts of things routed through and down and about.
Yeah.
And so everyone, as an American community,
Can you let Charles talk?
You know, I was just gonna ask a
The
question.
professor here.
Okay.
What guy
makes-
we have on our
Yeah.
podcast?
You know, what? I'm just
Okay.
gonna ask a simple question. What makes y'all think? Why did he put these in? Like, what's the reasoning behind it?
and an
Why
answer.
did he?
Why did he? Yeah.
Why
What's his
did
reasoning?
he or did he?
Did he? Did he? Bro, baby oil.
Well, okay, so some say it's more of a negotiation lever. Okay?
okay.
Now we pressure this way, we get this. It's about some would argue that it's about fairness, about leveling certain things, saying not letting the American people get taken advantage of.
Yeah. You know, I did hear that last year the U.S. was in a $236 million deficit
Really?
from overseas
Wow.
trade.
Wow.
So, you know, I think that could also be it, like making sure we aren't going under and being in this deficit. We need to be able to be
Self-sufficient?
self-sufficient and be able to not go into deficit for other countries.
Yeah.
You
Now-
know? So,
A lot of people would say that trade is good. We have products around the world, like we got to buy our cinnamon from South Asia, like that's just where it grows.
Champagne
Yeah.
from France.
Or if you don't drink certain pops and sodas, and so world trade can be good. It is good. It's a good thing. We had Silk Roads, okay, but we also are the American people. We have a lot of products that we can produce. We have a lot of potential. We have a lot of people that want to work. We have a lot of capabilities to build manufacturing processes. And so some just ask, why buy your eggs down the street when you can own chickens yourself?
exactly.
Yeah. I don't buy cucumbers. I grow cucumbers. It's just a preference.
Are companies willing to pay the increase in wages for their workers though? Like
That's interesting.
that would also be a really big factor. Is like, can the companies pay?
No, what we've seen yesterday is that they're just imposing what they're calling tariff hike-ups. It literally says on the Amazon, companies like Amazon, Razor, Petco. I know they put all of your expenses and they put tariff expense. So that's just showing that's directly being passed into the consumer.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I have no
Yeah.
rebuttal. I'm like lost.
It's rebuttal.
Rebuttal.
Aren't you a professor at Cambridge?
Yeah, but I'm still from the South, dude. What are you?
Hey, I'm going to ask you to jump all the way off his back on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. I think we don't have as much child labor going on.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there,
Okay.
pal.
Okay,
That's
get ready to
alright,
cut
well
this
then,
one.
That's a
you know
big
what?
What if we offset all the costs?
Okay,
by
all right.
hiring-
Well
get this,
then, thank you
all
everybody for
women.
tuning in to two guys and somebody else. That's
I'm
all
a
we have.
guy, he's a guy.
I'm somebody else.
Hey, we will see you again next week.
All right,
Peace.
whoop-de-doo.